tools are, and if you have any questions, you can send them to me or ask them at the end. So System Center Virtual Machine Manager. This helps enable the server. It increases the server utilization. Some servers are incredibly powerful these days. You can run several virtual machines on the top and not experience any particular performance lag, so that you're getting the most out of your machines. It includes end-to-end capabilities such as planning and deploying, managing and optimizing the virtual environment. It's more of an administration console for managing the environments, really. And Hyper-V is the hypervisor virtualization product from Microsoft. A hypervisor allows multiple operating systems to run concurrently on a host computer. It's highly reliable, and it can be scaled to meet the demands of any needs within an organization. So moving on to Lab Center now. All the tests that were run on the previous demo were running off a local machine. So as a tester, if I want to run tests in a particular environment, I need to go and build that. I'd probably rely on a build manager, an environments manager, or a developer, and they would want to deploy their software to a particular environment to make sure that it works correctly within particular settings. So we're all working off the same page there. These environments are created by using Lab Center and Microsoft Test Manager. Applications are deployed to these environments in your lab by using Team Foundation Build. Tests are run on these environments in your lab from the Test Center by using Microsoft Test Manager. Lab Center is built from SCVMM, which we saw in the previous slide, so it uses that as an underlying technology. SCVMM is really a far more technical tool, and maybe something not that testers would be expected to use. You'd probably expect a config manager or environments manager to create and manage the VMs and templates. But I thought it would be something that's useful to see as to get an overall idea of just what's going on there. If you just saw the lab management side, then perhaps you wouldn't fully understand it. So moving on to the lab environment architecture there, going through the layout of the process I've just described. On the client machine is Microsoft Test Manager, which includes the Lab Center software, and the Lab Center is used to create, deploy, and manage virtual environments. These environments are created from templates that are stored and are available on the TFS machine, and these templates are instances of virtual machines. These templates were converted from virtual machines using SCVMM, which used the Hyper-V technology when creating the virtual machines. So ultimately, this all means that we can create a variety of virtual environments so that we can test different formats against different applications and always have the latest build to test against. So moving on to the second demo here of lab management. I'm just going to share my computer screen again. Move on to the second demo. So connecting to the environment again, we open up and we can see the Virtual Machine Manager. This is the System Center Virtual Machine Manager, or SCVMM, administration console that we're looking at here. On the top center pane, you can see the host. The host is the demo machine that's running the virtual environment. Underneath there, we've got some information about this particular host. We can see that the latest jobs that were run, the processor power of the particular machine, the diagnostics information, some memory, some storage, which operating system this is running on, the virtual environment, the virtualization software that we're running on this particular environment, and the virtual machines that we've got running on this host that we're going to be looking at in a bit more detail. So moving down to the Virtual Machines tab, you can see that we've got 4 virtual machines on this particular host, 2 of which are running at the moment. There's the domain controller running and the Team Foundation server running. You can see in the lower pane, you can see that how long it's been running for, and some of the hardware information that's reserved for this particular machine. So there's 4 gig of RAM running, and there's emulating a particular type of processor there. I'll talk about that in a bit more. The storage, the capacity of the TFS server. And the actions across the side there, the virtual machines, we can create a new virtual machine, or we can convert a physical server to a different type of machine. Some more actions related to the virtual machine. We can stop the virtual machine or pause it if we want to make any changes. We can save a state of a particular machine, or we can shut it down, or we can connect to the virtual machine as well if we want to control it directly. Moving down to the libraries, this is all the resources available to SCVMM. You can see across the top there, there's it's organised by type, so there's the templates there. We've got several different types of templates stored in there. There's different types of virtual hard disks, a couple of ISO images as well that's going to be used. Moving down is a sort of a history of the jobs that have run on this particular machine recently. Get some information so that if there's any issues we can configure that. And moving down to the administration, which is more of a dashboard than anything else, there's information on the host, which virtual machines are running, and a nice pie chart of the recent jobs that have run. We can see which ones have failed or which ones were cancelled, and some library resources as well, so we can see how many virtual machines we have running and how many virtual hard disks we have available. So moving on to Lab Center, which is built on SCVMM. Going to start all programs, Visual Studio 2010, and opening up Test Manager again. I'm not going to show you the Lab Center, the TFS connection rather. We've already seen that. So we open up straight away into Lab Center. We can select between Lab Center and Testing Center at the top here. Testing Center is what we were in earlier, but I want to stay in Lab Center. And we're on the environment setting here, and we can see that there's absolutely no environment currently stored for running a test. So I want to create an environment here, so I'm just going to drop down to New and create a new virtual environment. I need to give the new environment a name. And then I want to add the template to this particular environment. So I select the template that's available there. That's keen-eyed amongst you would see that that was stored in the libraries that we saw earlier. And I can assign a role to this particular machine. I'm going to assign a web server role to that. And I'm going to add the same template again, but this time I'm going to give it a different role. And as long as it has the appropriate hardware, software even stored on the template, then I can really get it to do whatever I want it to be. So I'm going to reduce the memory on these. I really don't need 2 gig of RAM on each one of those. I need to change the name of at least one of them, as this is the same template that we're going to be using to cause all sorts of problems if we use the same one. And lower down we can see the CPU and total hard disk size. 9 gig of hard drive will be assigned to this particular environment, and the CPU as well. Hyper-V allows us to emulate a Pentium V there, even though the environment, the server is running an Intel i7. So just to give you a bit more of an idea as to what Hyper-V can do for you. I want to run the test in this environment, and it says that I need to add test agent and lab agent on the particular environment. When you create a template, you can add whatever software you want as long as it's in the virtual machine stage of the System Center. So that was added earlier when I created the environments and turned them into templates. And moving on to the summary there, just a quick look over, make sure I'm happy with everything, and then click Finish. So really it's quite a simple process of creating an environment there for a tester. As long as they know what they need, they can create it very quickly. These it's not just Windows Server machines. We can emulate any operating system really that we need to emulate. So we can create a massive environment, providing we have the hardware configuration available. So I'm going to move on. Share the PowerPoint once again. Okay, so moving on here to the seamless build deploy test. Earlier I spoke about one small change requiring massive retesting effort again The benefit of that might not be totally apparent